daily Srimad Bhagavatam reading morning session in English. Hare Krishna. So, Thursday was the last day which we read. So, with Thursday, we have completed 7:36. Last verse was 36. We read on Thursday. So, 37 we will learn from today. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayanudire. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtagi. Mukam Karoti Vachalyam Pangum Lange Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Gurum Deenadarinam Sri Chaitanyamishram Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chachurumilidam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanyamanoਭീഷ്ടം സ്ഥാപിതം യേന ഭൂതലേ സ്വയം രൂപാഗതാമഹ്യം ദദാന്തി സ്വപദാന്തികം വന്ദേഹം ശ്രീഗുരു ശ്രീയുതപദകമലം ശ്രീഗുരും വൈഷ്ണവാംശ ശ്രീരൂപം സാഗരജാതം സഹണ രഘുനാഥാന്യതം തം സജീവം സാദ്വൈതം സാവധൂതം പരിജനസമിതം കൃഷ്ണചൈതന്യദേവം ശ്രീരാധാ കൃഷ്ണപാദാൻ സഹണലൃതാ ശ്രീ വിശാഖാന്യതാംശ ഹേ കൃഷ്ണ കരുണാ സിന്ധോ ദീനബന്ധോ ജഗൽപദേ ഗോപേശ ഗോപിക കാന്ത രാധാ കാന്ത നമസ്തുതേ തപ്തകാഞ്ചന ഗൗരാംഗീ രാധേ വൃന്ദാവനേശ്വരി വൃഷഭാനുസുതേ ദേവി പ്രണമാമി ഹരിപ്രിയേ വാഞ്ചാകൽപതരുഭ്യശ്ച കൃപാ സിന്ധുഭ്യഃ ച പതിതാനാം പാവനേഭ്യോ വൈഷ്ണവേഭ്യോ നമോ നമഃ. നമഃ ഓം വിഷ്ണുപാദായ കൃഷ്ണപ്രേഷ്ഠായ ഭൂതലേ ശ്രീമതേ ഭക്തിവേദാന്ത സ്വാമിനേ നാമിനേ. നമസ്തേ സാരസ്വതേ ദേവഗൗരവാണി പ്രചാരിണേ നിർവിശേഷ ശൂന്യവാദി പാശ്ചാത്യദേശധാരിണേ. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. विष्णु हरे कृष्ण. Welcome once more all devotees for our Nityam Bhagavata Seva, daily Srimad Bhagavatam reading morning session. Hare Krishna. So, we'll start with verse number 37. Okay, Prabhuji? Now we'll start, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Shivana Prabhuji.
Please, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji. Okay. Prahlada's teachings going on. Wonderful classes. All verses were fantastic. I mean, very wonderful verses.
Very enlightening.
Yeah,
Very
yeah. Very enlightening. Whatever knowledge we are getting from the Hari Bol. Thank you. Krishna. So verse number 37. Adhokshajalambhamima iha shubhatmanaha sharirina samsruti chakrashadanam tad brahma nirvana sukham vidurbudha stato pajadvam hridaye hridishwaram. Adhokshajalambhamiha shubhatmana sharirinaha samsriti chikrashandatam tat brahma nirvana sukham vidurbudha stato bhajadvam hridaye hridisharam. Translation purported by His Divine Grace Abhajaranaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The real problem of life is the repetition of birth and death, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. This wheel, however, completely stops when one is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, by the transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from material existence. All learned men know this. Therefore, my dear friends, O sons of the Asuras, immediately begin meditating upon upon and worshipping the super soul within everyone's heart. Translation, very beautiful. Once more I will read. The real problem of life is the repetition of birth and death, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. This wheel, however, completely stops when one is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, by the transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from material existence. All learned men know this. Therefore, my dear friends, O sons of the Asuras, immediately begin meditating upon and worshipping the super soul within everyone's heart. Purport. Generally, it is understood that by merging into the existence of Brahman, the impersonal feature of the absolute truth, one becomes completely happy. The words Brahma Nirvana refer to connecting with the absolute truth, who is realized in three features, Brahmedi, Paramatmedi, Bhagavan iti Shabde. One feels Brahma Sukha, spiritual happiness, by merging into the impersonal Brahman, because the Brahma Jyoti is the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yasya Prabhavado Jagadanda Kodi. Yasya Prabha, the impersonal Brahman, consists of the rays of Krishna's transcendental body. Therefore, whatever transcendental bliss one feels from merging in Brahman is due to contact with Krishna. Contact with Krishna is perfect Brahma Sukha. When one mind is in touch with the impersonal Brahman, one becomes satisfied. But one must advance further to render service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or once remaining remaining merged in the Brahman effulgence is not always assured. As it is stated, Aruhya Karcharena
Parampatam tata. Patanti ado naditra ishmad angreha.
Parampadam tada Padanti Adho Anadrida Yasmad
Angreha.
Angare. One may merge in the Brahman feature of the absolute truth, but there is a chance that one may fall because of not being acquainted with Adhokshaja or Vasudeva. Of course, such Brahma Sukha undoubtedly eliminates material happiness. But when one advances through impersonal Brahman and localize the Paramatma to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in relationship with him as a servant, friend, parent, or conjugal lover, one's happiness becomes all-pervading. Then one automatically feels transcendental bliss, just as one becomes happy seeing the shining of the moon. One acquires natural happiness upon seeing the moon. But when one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's transcendental happiness increases hundreds and thousands of times. As soon as one is very intimately connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one surely becomes free from all material contamination. Ya Nirvritis Tanu Bridam. This cessation of all material happiness is called Nirvriti or Nirvana. Srila Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.38, Brahmanando bhavet eshati chayet parardha gunikritaha naiti bhakti sugambodheha paramanu tulam api. In if Brahmanda, the bliss of merging in the Brahman effulgence, were multiplied 100 trillion times, it would still not equal even an atomic fragment of the ocean of transcendental bliss left in devotional service. So, next verse is Brahma Bhudaha Prasannatma Na Shojati Na Kamshati Sama Sarveshu Bhudeshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. One who is transcendently situated at the and one situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 18.54. If one advances further from the Brahma Nirvana platform, one enters the stage of devotional service. Mad Bhaktim Nabhate Param. The word Adhokshajalambham refers to keeping the mind always engaged in the absolute truth, who is beyond the mind and material speculation. Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo. This is the result of deity worship. By constantly engaging in the service of the Lord and thinking of Him, His lotus feet, one is automatically freed from all material contamination. Thus, the word Brahma Nirvana Sukham indicates that when one is in touch with the absolute truth, material sense gratification is completely nullified. Hare Krishna Guruji, thank you. Wonderful purport. All verses very
Yes,
well.
very powerful preaching of Prahlad Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. My humble obeisance to all assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. And today we are discussing from very important verse number 37 from chapter 7, what Prahlad learned in the womb. So here we can see Prahlad Maharaj is saying to the Asuric children in the class when they have the break period, he is preaching to them, what are the problems in this world? So here, the real problem of life is repetition of birth and death. So same thing Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. In the 13th chapter, verse number 9, Janma Mrityu Jaravyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. That means the real problem, we may have a lot of problems here, our financial problem, we may have health problem, we may have relationship problem. So many problems are there, but those problems are called relative problems. Relative problems means today it will be there, tomorrow it will not be there. You know, like the example they are giving, relative problem means it is happy for one person, it is sorrow for one more person. Okay, if I have a tooth pain, I am having problem. But if I go to a dentist, he is very happy because he is getting money out of that. Okay, so my problem, I am losing a job, it is a problem for me. But somebody else getting the same job in my place is happy. So one man's food is another man's poison. So that is called relative problem. Relative problem means whatever problem we experience in this material world, these are called relative problems. Because what is problem for me is happiness for others. But real problem means it is actually what is real problem. It is common for all. It is nobody can avoid it, and everybody has to undergo this. This is called real problem. The definition for real problem is it is common for everyone. Nobody can avoid it, and nobody can avoid these problems, and everybody has to face this. Okay, And nobody wants it also. Nobody wants it, but nobody can avoid it. And it is common for all the people. So these three things are common for all. Nobody wants it, but nobody can avoid it. So what are the real problem? That is the core of the issue which is addressed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. That is repetition of cycle of birth and death. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Bhagavad Gita 13.9. Which is like a wheel, because it is again coming. It's not one-time exercise. Every time we have to undergo the same cycle again. That's why it is compared to a wheel. Like if you go to a exhibition, or if you go to a park, no, there is a Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel, you can see the wheel is there and people are sitting and it is going up and it will come down. Like that, we are in the cycle of birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare sayanam. Ye samsare bahudustare kripaya pahi pahi murare. Shankaracharya sang this song that I am repeatedly tossed in this cycle of birth and death. Kripaya pahi pahi murare means, oh my dear Lord Krishna, please relieve me from this cycle of birth and death. Like that, he is praying. So, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. Up and down means what? Sometimes when the Jivatma is doing punya activities, it is promoted to the higher planetary system. The wheel is on the top. And when the Jivatma again by association, by wrong association is involved in sinful activities, it is downgraded to the lower planetary system. So like that, we are sometimes going up, sometimes going down. This wheel, what happens, however, completely stops when one is in touch with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this wheel of repetition of cycle of birth and death is stopped actually when one is in touch with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yesterday also we discussed in the class about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the last slide, there was a slide which I put. That is why we should worship him. Like we know Krishna is supreme. Okay, let him be supreme, but why should we worship him? Krishna. So that 5 P's we discussed, that first P is for we have to get protection in this material world. So because this material world is basically a dangerous place. Padam padam na tesham. Every step there is a danger. So we need protection. Who can protect us? Nobody can protect here. Like yesterday, we highlighted the example also. Los Angeles in America. It is a wealthy country and Los Angeles is a very posh area. And they have all the best technology in the world. Everything is hi-fi. And that area which is affected by fire, like maybe more than 40,000 acres of land. But people are helpless. They came to the middle of the street. They are the so much wealthiest people in the world. They all came to the street. And we also know about the COVID. So who can protect us? Nobody in this world, no technology, no government, nobody. Prahlada Maharaj says that nobody can save except the who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So protection in the material world is first to be. We also need to purify our mind from the anarthas. Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya. That is also possible only when you take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And if you want Shanti, Krishna says, Bhaktaram Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Surdam Sarvabhutana Jnatva Mam Shanti Mrichati. If you know Krishna is the enjoyer, controller, and he is a well-wisher, then we get peace of mind. And for the pleasure of Krishna and pleasure of self, we need to worship Krishna. The last P was permanent relief from cycle of birth and death and promotion to the spiritual world. Krishna says, Yadgatvana Nevartante Tattama Paramamama. So this promotion, this permanent relief from the cycle of birth and death, that is possible only when one is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, it is not possible. That's why Krishna's name is called Mukunda. Mukunda is specifically, this name is given to Krishna, not for any other god. Because Mukunda means one who can give liberation. Okay, so there are so many demigods also. They can award some material benedictions, but they cannot award, they are not empowered to award liberation. Liberation was only possible by Krishna. That's why he's called as Mukunda. And Krishna also says in many places in Bhagavad Gita that if you come to me, Sarvadharman Parityaja, Mamekam Sharanam Bhaja, Tum Sarva Papebhyo, Moksha. Moksha is master. Moksha means liberation. So this liberation is only possible when we come in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. In other words, the transcendental bliss. See, again, we said this one of the P is pleasure. Okay. The pleasure we derive by worshipping Krishna, The transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from material existence. Iha yasya hare dasya karmana manasa gira. Niklastu Jivan Mukta Samachara. Even if he is in the material world, because he is constantly engaged by his mind, body, and words, he is already considered to be liberated from the material existence. All learned men know this. Therefore, so Prahlad Maharaj is saying, my dear friends, he is telling to his schoolmates, O sons of Asuras, O children of Asura, because this is Asuric family. So he is preaching to Asuras. Krishna, Bhakti movement is not only specifically meant for certain class of people. It is meant for everyone. So Prabhupada went to America, he preached to everyone. He went to Africa, he preached to everyone. So it is not reserved to any particular class of people. Or it is only preached to Brahmanas, no, nothing like that. Here, we can see from this example, Prahlad Maharaj is preaching to Asuras means everybody we can preach. There is no restriction that we should not preach to this person is unclean, this person is Asuric mentality. No, we can preach. But if they are not receptive, then we should not continue preaching. Okay, because that becomes an offense actually, because we read from holy name, no? To spread the to explain the glories of the holy name, those who don't have faith in the holy name. So when you preach, if they are very much averse, they are blaspheming Krishna, then no need to continue to those people. But initially, you can preach to everybody. Immediately begin meditating upon and worshipping the super soul within everyone's heart. Because Krishna is there in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smriti jnanam apoganam cha. Okay, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto means Krishna is as Paramatma living in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshi arjuna tishtati brahmayam sarvabhutanam yantra rudani mayaya. So like that, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that he is situated. So immediately if somebody is meditating on this Paramatma, he will guide us how to perform this devotional service and stop the cycle of birth and death. Okay. So this is what Prahlad Maharaj's instruction. So you can see this preaching will go on up to the which verse number is there. It's a very big verse. A lot of verses are there. All beautiful verses. Very deep philosophy is there. Instructions are there. Wisdom is there. Guidance is there. So it is going up to the verse number 55. 55. Etavan yalokesmin pumsa swarta parasmita ekanta bhakti govinde yet sarvatra ikshanam. The ultimate goal of human life is explained by all scripture is to render the service to the lotus feet of Govinda and to see him everywhere. With that, this Prahlad Maharaj, what he is learning is finished. Then next 8th chapter is Lord Narsimhadev slays the king of demons. So there are a lot more verses actually, beautiful verses, where Prahlad Maharaj is giving this instruction about this material body, about the material world, and about karma, about happiness, about suffering. And Prahlad Maharaj is actually encouraging all his schoolmates to take the path of bhakti. So that's the purpose of preaching. The purpose of preaching is to encourage the public to take the process of bhakti by taking the shelter of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The bhakti can be performed by anybody, whether it is a small child or elder people. Whereas meditation cannot be performed by everybody, right? It needs certain criteria. You should be healthy, you should be, self-controlled, and so many things. But bhakti can be performed irrespective of any age. And Prahlad Maharaj is a proof here. Prahlad Maharaj is hardly, I think, 5 or 7 years old. 5 or 7, I don't know how much, somewhere like that. And he's 5, Prabhu. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, somewhere like that, 5 to 7. And he is preaching bhakti means we can understand age is not a limit for bhakti. So that also we can understand from Prahlad Maharaj instructions. And we also see in the material world, sometimes people, children, they are giving pravachan. Sometimes in WhatsApp, some forward is coming. Some small child is speaking so beautifully about Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. And people are amazed. See how in childhood people are playing, how this child is getting. So bhakti is not having any restrictions that age factor or somebody is illiterate. They can also do perform wonderful bhakti. Somebody is poor, somebody is wealthy. Everybody can do bhakti. Like Prabhupada's one of the disciples is Ambarish Maharaj. See Ambarish the Prabhu. No, he's a grandson of Henry Ford. He's so wealthiest person. He's doing great bhakti. So poor people, there are also a lot of disciples who are not economic level, but they are also doing. So bhakti, materially, nobody can check for bhakti. Any material conditions cannot check bhakti. Whether we are beautiful, wealthy, or healthy, or nothing can check bhakti. Bhakti is independent. Hmm. So here we can see Prahlad Maharaj is so young, but he is giving the most wonderful instructions to the schoolmates. And Prabhupada here is explaining the purport that generally it is understood that merging into the existence of Brahman, the impersonal future. So the absolute truth is realized in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So we know the three features, right? So Brahman is actually the effulgence of emanating from the body, transcendental body of Sri Krishna. So that is actually Brahma Jyoti. So in Tamil Nadu also there is one saint called Vallala. Vallala is very famous because he saw God as a light. Till today he's been worshipped. And he told everybody has access to God, but he did not tell Krishna is supreme. He told light is supreme. Okay. So in his temple, always only one light. There is no photo of God, anything. Only one lamp will be glowing all the time. 24 hours, this lamp will be uh, lighted. He said Jiva Karunya. Jiva Karunya means he was so compassionate that he is telling when he is seeing a paddy field, he's seeing paddy field, he's seeing the paddy little bit bent because of no water. He feels very much miserable. He said that I am suffering, and he promoted vegetarianism also. And always there is distribution of food, another 24 hours. That from his time, no, he passed away maybe 100 years before. And but he saw Krishna as light, Brahma Jyoti. That is the impersonal future of the Lord. Okay. Realizing the Lord as a light form. Now we can see if you go to internet, if you type near-death experience, okay, just type like that. There are many people who encountered near-death experience, and they are actually explaining what they saw. Near-death experience means they go up to the edge of the death, okay, and then they come back to life again. So they will reveal that everybody saw a light, light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light, and they feel very peaceful and happy, relieved from all material problems. But after some time, they again come back to the body. So that you can see, just if you type in Google near-death experiences, you can see a lot of people explaining about this light. Western world, Eastern world, everybody. Not only it is for Indian people. You can see this is for throughout the world. People are sharing their experiences. So that light is actually Brahma Jyoti. And okay, so this word is called Brahma Nirvana, referring to connecting the absolute truth. And there is happiness and peace in that. Why? Why it is there is peace and happiness? Because that Brahma Sukha spiritual happiness, it is because the Brahma Jyoti is also coming from Krishna only. Because it is emanating from Krishna's body, the effulgence from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yasha Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanta Koti. Yasha Prabha means the impersonal Brahman consisting the rays of Krishna's transcendental body. Therefore, there is bliss in that rays also. But that is not the ultimate destination. Okay. Because here, Prabhupada is in contact with Krishna is Brahma Sukha. When the mind is in touch with impersonal Brahman, one becomes satisfied. Brahma Nirvanam means you attain, you go above these material miseries and become very peaceful, Shantam. Okay. But that is not, again, ultimate destination. Prabhupada gives one must advance further to render service, because service, this is neutral stage. So always see, there is three stages, no? One is negative stage, one is neutral. Even in electrical powers, you see that neutral, uh, negative, what is that? Neutral phase, negative, and there is positive.
Positive.
Neutral means a ground. Okay, so if you see a 3-pin socket, there is one positive, one negative, and one ground is there. Ground means neutral. Okay, like that, in spiritual life also, there is three stages. Not spiritual, generally in the overall, if you see the overall view, the negative stage is the material stage, where we are undergoing stress, depression, and so many kind of things which our mind is experiencing. Krishna says, Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Uh, so we are actually struggling in this material, Prakriti Sthani Karshati, the 15th chapter. So that is negative stage. And then when you go to the Brahma Sukha, that is neutral stage. Neutral stage is better than negative stage because there is no misery there. Okay, and there is some kind of happiness also because it is you are merging with Krishna's race. Okay, body level. But there is higher than negative is positive stage. That's what Prabhupada is talking here. That You have to advance further to render service. That service is the positive stage. For remaining merged in the Brahman effulgence is not always sure. And the second problem here, the Brahman effulgence is you can fall down. There is chance that you will fall down again into the material world. Okay, like already we fell down now. Like that, they can also fall down. After liberation, they can fall down because there is no assurance. Why it is said? Prabhupada quotes another sloka, Aruchya Aruhya Krichena Parampadam Tata Patanti Ado Anadrita Yushman Angrayaha. What is that sloka? This is actually Aruchena Pradam. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 32. Where I think this is Lord Brahma only speaking, this one. One may, what happens, he's saying, one may merge in the Brahman feature of the absolute truth. That is people who are Jnana Yogis. Okay, Jnana Yogis. They take this Brahman, merge into Brahman. And, but there is chance, this word you have to underline, there is chance that one may fall because not being acquainted with Adokshaja or Vasudeva. So there is chance because there is no service. There is chance. Now, like this is some situation like this. You went out of India. India, you have your home, everything. But you went out of India and there you went to the another country border and suppose America. You are in between that border. You are not able to enter because you don't have visa. So this bhakti or devotional service is the visa to enter the spiritual world. So here, because they have not performed a devotional service, they will not be in the material world or neither they will be in the spiritual world. There is a border between material world and spiritual world. They will be landed there and they cannot enter spiritual world because they did not have the visa of devotional service. So, Adokshara Vasudeva. So what happens? Long time they may be in the Brahmajyoti or sometimes they will come back. Like Prabhupada said, we need some shelter. People are going to the moon planet. And after moon planet, they are coming back because there is no shelter there. They have to come back to this material world. So either you have to be in the material world or either you have to be in the spiritual world. But in between is very, how to say, no assurance is there. You can fall down easily because you cannot enter the spiritual world. But there is a lot of chance that you will fall into the material world because you want to do some service. That service, you will be attracted again in the material world to do some kind of activity. And when one advances through the impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma to approach, higher than this Brahman is the Paramatma realization. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdade. Okay, so that verse is there. So Paramatma, to approach Supreme Personality of Godhead in relation with him is servant, friend or parent. Above that is actually is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. That is the final realization, Brahman, Bhagavan realization. Okay, that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Bhakti Amam Abhijanati Yavan Yaschasmi Tatvataha. So without taking Bhakti, you cannot understand Krishna as he is. Okay, and then one automatically feels transcendental bliss, just as one becomes happy by seeing the shining of moon. This is an example given. When you see moon, especially the full moon, we become so much pleased. So like that, when somebody will realize Krishna, he becomes so happy. Okay, and here we can see one acquires natural happiness upon seeing the moon, but when one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's transcendental happiness increases. Anandambudhi Vardhanam, it will increase. Increase, that is spiritual happiness. Material happiness also there, but material happiness will reduce. Example, if you take one gulab jamun, you feel very happy. Second gulab jamun, more happy. Third gulab jamun, most happy. Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10th one you take, your tongue will become bitter. You will feel like vomiting sensation. So here this happiness is having a limit. But spiritual happiness is not like that. It increases hundreds and thousands of times. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in Sishashtakam, Anandambudhi Vardhanam, it will increase. So that is unlimited. Ramante Yogino Anante, Sachidananda Chidatmane. This is unlimited happiness. But only when we release, we can understand all these things. As soon as one intimately connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can become free from all material contamination. Ya Nivritti Sthanu Pritam. This cessation of material happiness is called Nivritti, Nirvritri or Nirvana. So the Buddha also, Lord Buddha taught that Nirvana. Nirvana means you are actually transcending these material sufferings. And this is called, the Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is quoting that one point, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in English it is called as nectar of devotion. 1.1.38 Brahmanando Bhavet Esha Chet Pararda Gunikritaha Naiti Bhakti Sukambode Paramanu Tulamapi. So we are called Rupanagas, followers of Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami has given immense literature in the path of devotional service. And the most important literature is Nectar of Devotion. In fact, in beginning and before initiation also, we are supposed to read this book, at least few chapters. So what is this verse saying? The Brahmananda means when you merge with the Brahman, the bliss of merging with Brahman, the jnanis basically. That happiness, what they are experiencing, you have to multiply that happiness with 100 trillion times. That would still not equal to one atomic fragment of ocean of transcendental bliss felt in devotional service. See the comparison? How we can understand this? People who are in Brahman effulgence, they are experiencing some happiness. And what about people who are experiencing happiness in performing devotional service? Is that happiness you have to multiply by 100 trillion times. That is the verse actually. But still, if you multiply, it would not be equal to even an atomic fragment of the ocean of transcendent bliss felt in devotion. So we can understand the glory of the happiness experienced in devotional service. So that's one point here. Prabhupada gives you the purport. And also, one more verse Prabhupada is quoting from Bhagavad Gita, right? 18th chapter, 54 verse number 54.
1854, yeah.
Yeah, very Brahma Bhuta. Again, Brahma Bhuta means same Brahman platform. What happens when somebody reaches his Brahma Bhuta platform? He becomes Prasanna Atma. Prasanna Atma means his mind becomes pacified, no hankering. Na sochati, na kankshati. What happens? Na sochati means he does not lament for what he has lost, or he does not hanker for anything material. Na kankshati. Two things. He does not lament, nor does he hanker for anything material. And he becomes Prasannatma when he is the Brahman platform. After reaching that Brahman platform, no asachati, no kankshati, then he will see everybody in the equal level. Sama sarva bhuteshu. He will see everybody on the equal platform. Then after that, he will get the bhakti. Bhakti starts after that only, not before that. Mad bhakti labate param. Okay. So bhakti stage, actual bhakti starts after this, not now. So whatever we are doing is actually sadhaka bhakti. But the advanced bhakti is actually, the advanced bhakti begins after this Brahma Bhuta platform. Na sochati, na kankshati, sama sarve bhuteshu, mad bhakti labate para. He will achieve bhakti after that. So, the translation we'll read one more time.
Which translation want me to read? I'll read.
Yeah, Prabhu, we can read.
Okay, Hare Krishna. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So, see here, we can say Samasarva Bhuteshu means he is equally disposed towards all living beings. So, also Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, no, Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmini Kavyastini Suni Chaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So, anybody in the spiritual platform, they will see all equal disposition. That's why when we are actually killing animals for our own, it is not good because it is not an equal vision. Equal vision means you should see all the Jivatma in the same platform. So that's what Brahma Bhuta means, transcendently situated. And he realizes Supreme Brahman, Prasannatma. He becomes joyful. And na sochati na kankshi. He never laments or desires for anything. Sama sarva bhuteshu. He is equally disposed to all living entities. Then the last line is Mad Bhakti Labate Paramans. In that state only. See, this is the three conditions. In that state, he attains pure devotional service. So that's why we are saying ours is not pure devotional service now. But when somebody will reach that stage, in that state, he will attain pure devotional service unto the Lord. See how much is glorious is Bhakti. If one advances further from Brahma Nirvana platform, that is Brahma Bhuta, one enters into the stage of devotional service. Mad Bhakti Labate Param. And here, Prabhupada refers this word adokshajalambam. Refers to keeping the mind always engaged in absolute truth. We know that Ambarish Maharaj is reciting that verse is there, no? Saivai mana Krishna padara vindur vacham sivai kunta gunana varane. So always he was thinking about engaging the service of the absolute mind. No, Saivai Mana Krishna Padara Vindeyor. His mind was always fixed in the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, who is beyond the mind and material speculation? So, through our mind or material speculation, we cannot understand Krishna. Saivai Mana Krishna Padara Vindeyo. So, Prabhupada quotes here. So, I was remembering that verse and Prabhupada written here also. Saivai Mana Krishna Padara Vindeyo. This is the result of deity worship. So deity worship helps us in achieving all these things. Like you see, when you are doing deity worship, automatically, all this Navavida Bhakti will come. Like you can see, Sharanam, you are hearing about the Lord, like what we are hearing from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Kirtanam, you are glorifying, you are chanting, that is also there. Sharanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, when you do Sharanam and Kirtanam, you are doing Smaranam also. Vandanam, where you will do? You are not doing Vandanam to holy name. Vandanam is actually offering your obeisances you are doing in front of the deity. If you have home, deity, Vandanam. Dasya means you are serving the deity very nicely. You are offering bhoga, you are changing the dress, okay, every day or every Ekadasi, you are doing Dasyam. And, you are doing service to the Dasyam you cannot do for the holy name. Because Dasyam, holy name you are not having. Maybe you have the mood, but to serve in the Dasyam mood, you need a deity. So Dasyam, you are doing so many service to the deity. You are making garland to the deity. You are offering incense, you are offering flowers, you are garland. So Dasyam, Sakyam, in that way you are intimately connected to the deity. Sakyam, friendship. Uh, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Archanam also you are doing, right? Archanam. Every day you have deity worship. You are doing Archana. You are offering Archana means you are offering various paraphernalia to the Lord. Like you offer Agarbatti, you offer flower, you offer chamara, you offer peacock feather, you offer boga, so many things. So Archanam. So, Saive Mana Krishna Padara, when you always engage means, this is the result when somebody is performing deity worship. That's why Prabhupada recommended deity worship for all the grastas. Prabhupada did not recommend deity worship for sannyasis because sannyasis are always frequently they are traveling. It will be difficult for them for doing deity worship. But Prabhupada recommended deity worship for all grastas. And what kind of deities to be worshipped also Prabhupada recommended. Prabhupada recommended basically, he did not recommend worship of Radha Krishna because it's very high standard. We are not qualified to worship Radha Krishna. So Prabhupada recommended worship of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani deities because they are very, very merciful. And also Gauranitai. Because Gauranitai also, they are very merciful. They only want you that you chant 16 rounds in front of them. Gauranitai deities and Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, he recommended for all the grahasthas to keep in their home and worship. So in that way, we can get absorbed in the Krishna service. It will help us in absorption. So because the whole thing is you have to absorb in Krishna's smaran. Saive Mene Krishna Padara Vindayo. That is possible by deity worship. By constantly engaging in the service of the Lord and thinking of his lotus feet, one is automatically freed from all contamination. So we discussed 1P, that out of 5 P's, no, like when you are worshipping Krishna, what happens? You will be freed. Your mind will be purified. 1P is purification of the mind. So automatically we are chanting, we are hearing, we are doing service, deity service. Then automatically our mind becomes purified of all material contaminations, like whatever we have, this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, vatsarya. So this is the benefit of worshipping the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the word Brahma Nirvana Sukham indicates that when one is in touch with absolute truth, so that word in the sloka is there, no? Brahma Nirvana Sukham. Brahma Nirvana Sukham. The third line, Brahma Nirvana Sukham. Prahlada Maharaj is saying, Brahma means referring to the Supreme Lord, Nirvana. It means all the material problems, you are liberated from all material tribulation. That is Nirvana and Sukham, and then you attain happiness. 3 things, Brahma, Nirvana, Sukham. Indicates that when one is in touch with absolute truth, material sense gratification is completely nullified and also one experiences happiness. So as I said, happiness is our goal. Whether materialist or spiritualist, both happiness is the goal. But the materialists, they are trying to get the happiness through sense gratification. But the spiritual people, they are trying to get the happiness by serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the grade of happiness which the spiritual people are getting is higher than, million times higher than the people who are having this material happiness or Brahma platform also. So that is the service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives a happiness which is higher in nature. And Krishna says that also, Vishayamini vartante niraharasya deina raso varjam rasopyasa param drishtva nivartate. So this material sense gratification is lower taste and spiritual happiness is higher taste. Once a person will taste the higher taste, then he will no more be interested in tasting the lower taste, which is actually through the sense gratification. Hare Krishna. So this is today's verse, which is wonderful teaching of Prahlad Maharaj, encouraging everybody to take up the devotional service and perform some surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord by taking the process of Bhakti Yoga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? So almost we are 10:26. Three minutes is there.
Any realization?
Please, or comments if you have any realization or if I have missed any point which is to be explained also, please feel free. You can express it. Hare Krishna.
Himavati Mataji.
Himavati Mataji, welcome back, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Welcome back, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, there is a similar sloka in the 10th canto. We were discussing that sloka last time, in which Parishit Maharaj is telling to Shukadev Goswami about the glories of hearing, in which it is said that the real...
One minute. I will mute Prabhuji actually. Not Prabhu. Where is Prabhuji? The list is not there. Okay, muted. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji.
It is said that the real problem is the repeated birth and death, and the real medicine for that real disease is hearing about the glories of the Lord. That sloga is Nivrta Tasre Rubagiyamana Bhava Aushado Chotra Manobhirama Ka Uttama Sloga Gunanuvada. Like that the sloga goes. So the real Aushada Bhava Aushado Chotra Manobhirama. So when we hear the glorification of Uttama Sloga, that is the real medicine for our disease. That is the repeated birth and death.
Very nice, Mataji. Very nice. Yes, 10.1.4, right, Mataji?
10.1.4, 10.1.4, I think.
Yeah, 10.1.4.
Yes, same slogan. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Aushada.
Nivrta Tasre Rubagiyamana Bhava Aushado Chotra Manobhirama Ka Uttama Sloga Gunanuvada. Last line I forgot, Prabhu. Some
Pashuknath. Vina Pasuganath.
Pashuknath, yes. So those who don't relish the nectarian glorification of the Supreme Lord, they are butcher or killer of oneself, like that. That is the explanation of the sloka.
Yes. Very nice, Mataji. Glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system. That is, it is conveyed from the spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is released by those no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? Beautiful, Mataji.
Yes. Same sloka, yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for highlighting that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Anybody else want to highlight any points? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, very much.
So thank you all for giving this opportunity.
We are lucky. Thank you very much. Yesterday's class also, Prabhuji, wonderful. So thank you for sharing the link also.
Krishna's mercy.
It was amazing. Yeah, very clear also yesterday's recording. So
yeah, that's all glories to Anantama Gopal Prabhu.
Prabhuji shared also the
good quality, with mic and very good this one. Clarity is very good. Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Okay. If nobody else has any comment. Anyway, thank you very much, Prabhuji. So, thank you once again, all the devotees who joined today. So, good in numbers, 11 people, 11
Yeah.
devotees there. Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much. So, whenever you get time, try to log in to the same time. So, other days also, except Fridays, you can have our reading session. So, you can take part or you can listen or whatever. Whenever you get time, try even 10 minutes or 15 minutes, not 1 hour, whatever the time you get, you try to log in and hear the lecture, the class. Even Prabhupada's purport is amazing. So it doesn't need any explanation also. So please do join whenever you get time. So thank you for joining, all of them. Okay, Prabhuji. So we'll chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhuji as well as all the devotees who are present today for everybody's spiritual progress all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare.
Ram